Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance. So sit back, relax and enjoy some satisfying stories. Want me to create the employee schedule when I know I'm getting fired? You got it. This was about 20 years ago. I was working as an hourly manager at a popular American fast food place. Franchise, not corporate. I had been there several years and had accrued some vacation time. I requested a week off, months in advance, to go on a hunting trip a few states away with my dad, who taught me how to shoot and hunt. The vacation time was approved by the general manager of the store, and I booked the trip, non-refundable. A week before I was due to go on vacation, the head office decided to replace my general manager with one from a different store they owned. The new general manager decided he had to assert his dominance by rejecting my vacation time and stated that he didn't have enough managers available to cover the shifts. I argued that the trip was already booked, but he wasn't having any of it. I liked my job and didn't want to leave, but there was no way I was going to miss this trip. I tried everything to get him to approve the time off, but he scheduled me to work that week anyway. He said if I didn't work, I'd be fired. I told him I was going. I liked my co-workers and didn't want to screw anyone over by having shifts that needed covered, so I got all of them covered a few days before I left. The general manager wouldn't approve them working for me and still said I had to work. I was working the day before the trip, the Friday, and he knew I was leaving the next day no matter what. Part of my job was to schedule the crew's shifts. It typically needed to be done by Sunday for the following week, but on this day he said I had to have it done that day. Cue the malicious compliance. One additional thing to note, this was about 15 years after the most popular girl's name was Ashley, and the most popular boy's name was Michael. That means that we had 8 Ashleys and 6 Michaels working there. It was normally troubled to keep from having more than 2 of them there at the same time because of labor laws. That Saturday from 11 AM to 2 PM, the lunch rush, on the general manager's shift, every single one of them was scheduled at the same time. I can only imagine the chaos when he wanted one of them to do something. When I picked up my last check, another shift manager confirmed that it was as glorious as I had imagined. That has got to be so confusing for them though, working with like 7 other Ashleys or 5 other Michaels. Mess cook maliciously complies for special meal, resulting in 6 months of Brussel sprouts being shot out of the torpedo tubes. Background: my father was in the Navy and submarine force for 35 years. He does not discuss anything related to this, and he is very reserved and secretive. The only reason I know this story is the chaplain told my mum. My father had just received his first command of a submarine, and was very busy trying to ensure everything was ready before departure. He had a steady stream of people interacting with, and the mess cook jumped in and asked him, "What do you want for your special meal?" My father had no idea what he was talking about, assuming it was some dessert for tonight's dinner. Sarcastically, he replied, "Brussel sprouts." My father doesn't really joke and is rather serious and not approachable, so I can see why this would have not been taken as a joke but a command. So about 3 days into the voyage, my dad comments during dinner, "This cook really likes to use Brussel sprouts," since they've had them every day for lunch and dinner. One of the officers lets the cook know the commander is not really big on the whole Brussels sprout menu he has going. The cook's face goes pale when he hears this, and immediately then tells my dad about the time he had asked him about his special meal, and he responded with Brussels sprouts. My dad feels like an idiot and apologizes for the misunderstanding. It really isn't that bad if this is just me. The cook pauses. "Well, as a matter of fact, it was for the whole ship." My dad then asks, "Do the crew like Brussels sprouts?" The cook now admits there has been some grumbling about the addition of daily Brussels sprouts to the menu. My dad then asks how much there is, and surely it won't last the week, correct? If it's for the ship? The cook, now filled with dismay, relates there is in fact a 6-month supply of Brussels sprouts, and it's taking up a lot of space. My dad then sarcastically said we might have a Brussels sprout mutiny on our hands. My father realizes he is the new commander, and he is not making a very good impression with the crew by inflicting Brussels sprouts on them daily. Submarines don't just return to port or radio another ship to transfer supplies. They have predetermined rendezvous points with subtenders or ports of call, and they can go months without surfacing or radio contact. My dad then orders a torpedo drill, and the Brussels sprouts were the ammunition. 6 months of Brussels sprouts were sent to the murky depths of the Atlantic Ocean. There was an immediate boost in morale. Can I just add, the smell there is going to be the worst thing, surely. Like close to probably 100 people all eating Brussels sprouts. Ooh. 3-day minimum sick days to get paid? Alrighty then. So I only recently found this out, completely by accident as well. Well, strictly speaking, 3 of my colleagues found out the hard way. So everyone's favorite day arrived last week. Payday. But to the shock of some of the guys here, they had some deductions in pay. As their manager, I was unaware of what this was, which is not unusual as companies and bosses love to mess around with policies and then keep it secret like it's the freaking nuke launch codes or something. I went to query why 3 of my guys had large chunks of pay taken from them, seeing as they work harder than most of upper management and know more about the company than they do. To no one's surprise whatsoever, there had been a change in company policy that was yet to be released in the form of a memo, but was in effect as of several weeks prior. I am upper management by the way, but I started at the bottom and worked my way up. I spend a lot of my time on the floor with the guys doing actual work to give them the help needed, and occasionally speak to difficult customers because they don't get paid enough to deal with that. I, on the other hand, could not give less of a freak about the entitled people who abuse my staff. So it's fun to tell them to get lost. Also, meetings are dull, and my time could be better spent helping my guys and gals than discussing the financial benefit of changing our logo's color from purple to magenta with rose infusion for 4 hours. So I go and have a little chat with HR about what's going on. Turns out there's a new policy that means if you take just a day off, then you will not get any sick pay. But if you have 3 days off in a row, then you do. But what makes this even better is this new policy is company-wide, meaning it affects everyone, no matter what position you are in. Alright then, so be it. So let's just skip forward to today. As of this point, everyone now knows this new policy. There was a memo sent out on Monday morning, which I made sure was forwarded to everyone's personal emails just in case. Wink wink. Myself and a rather larger than normal percentage of people have called in sick as of Monday, and looks like everyone got some kind of virus that will take at least 3 days to go away. Funny that. It's currently 9:30 AM on a Tuesday. I won't be in until Thursday, just like everyone else, because obviously the slight headache I had yesterday will take a while to go away. Though I am keeping an eye on the company emails, there's a lot of other managers who are not happy with this new policy either. It's almost like people don't like it when you mess with their pay. Update. So I've been keeping an eye on the emails back and forth, and this is just golden. Nothing has really changed, but the email from the Customers Relations Department head is pretty funny. This is the short version, the long one is like 2 pages long. This is essentially what it says. Where is everyone? Customer Relations has 22 staff and 9 are off sick. I'm really confused. It's almost as if like the company doesn't want people working for them. If you get too many absences, you can't participate in extracurriculars. So in high school, I went to a private parochial school that I paid for myself, not my parents. I chose this school over the local public school because of the quality of education. Students here generally did measurably better on college placement tests than the public schools, and the quality and variety of extracurricular activities, sports, band, clubs, and such. I was paying for the whole experience. My choice. My junior year, I came down with some kind of chronic nastiness, mononucleosis or something like that, early in the year, causing me to miss many days of school. I made up the work while home, did not miss any of the homework, kept my grades up and such, but still was not present at school. The school had a policy that if you were marked as absent X number of days during the school year, you would no longer be allowed to attend or participate in extracurriculars, sports, dances, field trips, clubs, or club competitions, things like that. There was no allowance regarding grades, just the count of days absent. My earlier illness had put me right on the cusp of reaching that magic number. I think I had been out 13 of the 15 days allowable. If I missed just a few more days, I would be done for the rest of the school year. And I was really looking forward to pole vaulting during track season in the spring. What the school counted as an absence was if you were not present during the roll call in the first homeroom period. If you were present for roll call, you were not counted as absent. In late February, I came down with some version of the flu, as students sometimes do. Knowing how close I was to being disallowed to participate, I went to school anyway. Spent the day miserable, fever, coughing, sometimes coughing stuff up. I had no business being in the public, yet there I was. A teacher for late morning class made me go to the school nurse, who promptly told me to go home. When I pleaded that if I missed any more days I would miss out on track season, she mentioned that going home early was not the same as absent, so wouldn't count against me. That cued my malicious compliance. I went home as directed. The next day I didn't feel any better, in fact arguably worse, but had a plan. So long as I made it through roll call, I could protect those precious absences. So that's what I did. Went to homeroom, said here when my name was called, then muddled through until I couldn't function anymore or a teacher sent me to the nurse. The next day, same thing, except just after roll call, the assistant principal came into the room to get me, chewing me out as he escorted me, at a bit of a distance, to the nurse's office to send me home again. When he asked me why I kept coming back, possibly infecting other people, I explained the policy on absences versus going home early. He was mad as heck, exclaiming things like, "We'll see about that," and how it was so selfish of me to come in when I was so contagious and stuff. I presented my argument that it was their policy that set this up. I was just doing my best not to get thrown out of extracurriculars when my grades were in fact well above average. I threw up in the hallway shortly before we reached the nurse's office. This did nothing to improve his disposition. I returned to school the next day, made roll call, and went straight to the nurse's office and got sent home again. Thereafter, I was actually well enough to both make it to school and function in my capacity as a student. My absences never went over 13 that school year, so I got to participate in all the activities I chose. I never heard back from the assistant principal, so I guess his threat of "we'll see about that" was all bark and no bite. Yeah, purely doing it on days missed I think is a bit stupid. Like, if this person was keeping up with all their work, homework, everything, and their grades were good, surely they should make an exception, but I guess not. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching and I will see you very soon.